Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful day today. We are here with Alicia from Conservation Nebraska, and she is going to talk to us a bit about the sky and sky pollution. So, with that being said, here is Alicia.
Hi. Today we're going to talk about sky pollution. Kat, are you sharing your screen? Okay. So to start off, sky pollution. Let's see. There we go. So sky pollution is what we're going to talk about today. And for an overview, there are two different types of sky pollution. Two of the biggest parts of sky pollution would be light pollution. We're going to go over what light pollution is, the effects of light pollution on then light pollution 101 and mitigating light pollution. And then there is air pollution, and we're going to talk about what that is, the effects of air pollution 101, and steps to prevent air pollution. And then to end, I'm going to give you some resources on sky pollution. So what is light pollution? Light pollution is an inappropriate or excessive use of artificial light known as, and this can cause serious environmental consequences for humans, wildlife, and our climate. Some components of light pollution would be glare, which is excessive brightness that causes visual discomfort, sky glow, brightening of the night sky over inhabited areas. Light trespass is light falling where it is not intended or needed. And then clutter is bright, confusing, or excessive groupings of light sources. So this picture on here is a map of light pollution. I believe this was Los Angeles. So you can see just around some of the edges of the darker areas, there's like a faint glow. So that would be the sky glow. And it would also be light trespass. And then the clutter would be in the center. And then around the whole thing, there would be glare that would be coming up. So some effects of light pollution is exposure to light at night for humans has health risks. Humans evolved with the rhythms of the natural light dark cycle of the day. Due to artificial light, most of us no longer experience truly dark nights. Like most life on Earth, we adhere to the light-dark rhythm for our biological clock. Natural light is an important cue that helps us set our clocks to Earth's 24-hour rotation period. Exposure to artificial light at night disrupts this process and increases our risks for cancers and other potentially deadly diseases. Blue rich light, so like lights from your TV or your computer at night, are particularly harmful. And unfortunately, most LEDs used for outdoor lighting, computer screens, TVs, and other electronic displays emit a lot of blue light. And then when it comes to wildlife, it is harmful for birds that migrate or hunt at night, navigate by moonlight or starlight. Artificial light can cause them to wander off course towards the dangerous nighttime landscapes of cities. Every year, millions of birds die colliding with needlessly illuminated buildings and towers. Migratory birds depend on cues from properly timed seasonal schedules. Artificial lights can cause them to migrate too early or too late, or miss ideal climate conditions for nesting, foraging, and other behaviors. And then when it comes to sea turtles live in the ocean, but they hatch at night on the beach. So hatchlings find the sea by detecting the bright horizon over the ocean. Artificial lights draw them away from the ocean, and in Florida alone, millions of hatchlings die every year this way. And then for nocturnal animals, they sleep during the day and are active at night. Light pollution radically alters their nighttime environment by turning night into day for them. According to research scientist Christopher Kiva, for nocturnal animals, the introduction of artificial light probably represents the most drastic change human beings have had on their environment. Predators use light to hunt, and prey use the darkness as cover. Near cities, cloudy skies are now hundreds or even 1,000 times brighter than they were 200 years ago. We are only beginning to learn about the drastic effect this has on nocturnal ecology. Glare from the artificial lights can also impact wetland habitats that are home to amphibians such as frogs and toads, whose nighttime croaking is part of a breeding ritual. Artificial lights disrupt this nocturnal activity, interfering with reproduction and reducing populations. And then for insects, many insects are drawn to light, but artificial lights can create a fatal attraction. Declining insect populations negatively impact all species that rely on insects for food and pollination. Some predators exploit this attraction to their advantage, affecting food webs in unanticipated ways. So predators, there might be more prey that are dying from light pollution, so then the predators have a higher population than prey, and that throws off the ecosystem. And then it contributes to climate change, using an excessive amount of energy produced by fossil fuels. In an average year, the US outdoor lighting uses some 120 terawatts hours of energy, mostly to illuminate streets and parking lots. That's enough energy to meet New York City's total electricity needs for 2 years. Unfortunately, up to 50% of the light is wasted. It adds up to about 3.3 billion, and the release of 21 million tons of CO2 per year into the atmosphere. To offset all that CO2, we'd have to plant 875 million trees annually. And then it disrupts season cycles of trees. Even plants depend on the natural cycle of day and light. Artificial light at night can throw off a plant's response to the change of seasons. Prolonged exposure to artificial light prevents many trees from adjusting to seasonal variations. Notice how the leaves of the trees have their fall colors, except under the street light, they would not have their normal fall colors. They would, and in turn, this has implications for wildlife that depend on trees for their natural habitat. And then we have Light Pollution 101 video. And then when it comes to mitigating light pollution, we need to only use the light that we need, like only light the areas that are necessary. Use energy efficient bulbs and only as bright as they have to be. And then shield lights so they are directed downward, and so they don't have as much glare and excessive light in places that don't need it. And then only using the light when you need it. So keeping lights off when it's not necessary. And then choosing warm bulbs, warm white light bulbs. So those would just be better than the blue light that come from like a cooler light bulb. And then there is the International Dark Sky Association that is doing a lot to mitigate light pollution and reduce the amount of light pollution, because unlike some other pollutions like air pollution and water pollution, light pollution is pretty reversible on its effects. So then we will move on to air pollution. What is air pollution? Air pollution is a mixture of solid particles and gas in the air. Car emissions, chemicals from factories, dust, pollen, and mold spores may be suspended as particles. Ozone, a gas, is a major part of the air pollution in cities. When ozone forms air pollution, it's called smog. Pollution enters the Earth's atmosphere in many different ways. Most air pollution is created by people, taking the form of emissions from factories, cars, planes, and aerosol cans. Secondhand cigarette smoke is also considered air pollution. These man-made sources of pollution are called anthropologic sources. And then some types of air pollution, such as smoke from wildflower fires or ash from volcanoes, occur naturally, and these are called natural sources. And then right here, the American Lung Association warns that about half of Americans, which is 141 million people, are inhaling unsafe air, according to its 2019 State of Air report. And this was up 7 million from 2018. So some effects of air pollution on humans, there are short-term and long-term effects. So some short-term effects would be illness such as pneumonia or bronchitis. They also include discomfort such as irritation of nose, throat, eyes, or skin. Air pollution can also cause headaches, dizziness, and nausea. Bad pollution or bad smells made by factories, garbage, or sewer systems are considered air pollution too. These odors are less serious but still unpleasant. And then long-term effects of air pollution can last for years or for a lifetime. They can even lead to a person's death. Long-term health effects from air pollution include heart disease, lung cancer, and respiratory diseases such as emphysema. Air pollution can also cause long-term damage to people's nerves, brains, kidneys, liver, and other organs. Some scientists suspect air pollutants may cause birth defects. Nearly 2.5 million people die worldwide each year from the effects of outdoor and indoor air pollution. People react differently to different types of air pollution. Young children and older adults whose immune systems tend to be weaker are often more sensitive to pollution. Conditions such as asthma, heart disease, and lung disease can be made worse by exposure to air pollution. The length of exposure and the amount of type of pollutants are also a factor. And then as far as its effects on wildlife and the environment, like people, animals, and plants, entire ecosystems can suffer from air pollution. Haze, like smog, is a visible type of air pollution that obscures objects in color. Hazy air pollution can also muffle sounds. Air pollution particles eventually fall back to Earth. Air pollution can directly contaminate the surface of bodies of water and soil, and this can lead to killing crops and reducing yield. It can kill young trees and other plants. And then sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide particles in the air can create acid rain when they mix with water and oxygen in the atmosphere. These air pollutants come mostly from coal-fired power plants and motor vehicles. When acid rain falls to Earth, it damages plants by changing soil composition. It degrades water quality in rivers, lakes, and streams, damages crops, and can cause buildings and monuments to decay. That's because the acidity in the rain just eats away at those. And then, like humans, animals can suffer health effects from exposure to air pollution. Birth defects, diseases, and lower reproductive rates have all been attributed to air pollution. And then when it comes to climate change is an environmental phenomenon caused by natural and anthropologic air pollution. It refers to rising air and ocean temperatures around the world. The temperature rises at least partially caused by an increased amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases trap heat energy in the Earth's atmosphere. Usually more of Earth's heat escapes into space. And then carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that has the biggest effect on global warming. Carbon dioxide is emitted into the atmosphere by burning fossil fuel, which is coal, gasoline, and natural gas. Humans have come to rely on fossil fuels to power cars and planes, heat homes, and run factories. Doing these things pollutes the air with carbon dioxide. Other greenhouse gases emitted by natural and artificial sources also include methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases. Methane is a major emission from coal plants and agricultural processes. Nitrous oxide is the common emission from the industrial factories, agriculture, and burning of fossil fuels in cars. Fluorinated gases such as hydrofluorocarbons are emitted by industry. They're often used instead of gases, which are CFCs, and those have been outlawed in many places because they deplete the ozone layer. And then this is Air Pollution 101, which is a video from National Geographic about air pollution.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct. Air pollution consists of chemicals or particles in the atmosphere that pose serious health and environmental threats. But what causes air pollution, and what does it mean for our planet? Some air pollution comes from natural sources like volcanic eruptions, wildfires, or allergens. But most air pollution results from human activities, such as energy use and agriculture. There are different types of human-made air pollution. When we burn fossil fuels to produce energy, they release greenhouse gases into the air. These emissions, such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases, trap heat from the sun in Earth's atmosphere, leading to a rise in global temperatures. This creates a cycle where air pollution contributes to climate change, and climate change creates higher temperatures. In turn, higher temperatures intensify some types of air pollution. For example, climate change increases smog because it forms in the presence of high heat and increased levels of ultraviolet radiation. More frequent extreme weather, such as flooding, contributes to damp conditions and therefore to a rise in mold. Warmer weather also leads to longer pollen seasons and therefore more pollen production. Smog is a type of air pollution that reduces visibility and has serious health effects. Smog can be divided into two categories: sulfurous and photochemical. Sulfurous smog is made up of chemical compounds called sulfur oxides. It occurs when burning sulfur-bearing fossil fuels such as coal. Photochemical smog, also called ground-level ozone, is a result of the reaction between sunlight, nitrogen oxides, and volatile organic compounds. Nitrogen oxides come from car exhaust, coal power plants, and factory emissions. Volatile organic compounds are released from gasoline, paints, and many cleaning solvents. Smog not only creates a brown haze that reduces visibility, but also harms plants, irritates the eyes, and causes respiratory distress. Another category of air pollution is toxic pollutants. These are chemicals such as mercury, lead, dioxins, and benzene that are released during gas or coal combustion, waste incineration, or burning of gasoline. In addition to adverse environmental effects, toxic air pollution can cause serious health problems such as cancer, reproductive complications, and birth defects. While air pollution has many consequences for our planet, there are solutions. We can limit toxic pollutants, smog, and greenhouse gases by decreasing the use of fossil fuels, such as in transportation, manufacturing, and electricity generation. Reducing air pollution not only contributes to a cleaner environment and better human health, but can also slow the rate of global warming.
So in that video, they talked more about how there are different types of air pollutants. And then they talked about how to prevent it, but these are just more broken down. So riding your bike or walking instead of driving to places that are close, taking the bus or carpooling, buying a car that has greater fuel efficiency, turning off lights and appliances when they're not in use, and then using energy efficient light bulbs and appliances, and then buying few things that are manufactured with fossil fuels. And then lastly, we're going to go over just a couple resources if you want to know a little bit more about each of these. For light pollution, there is a short video called Losing the Dark that is by the International Dark Sky Association. And it just goes over how it affects how light pollution works and how it affects humans and animals. And then the National Geographic has a really good article and page about how the nights are getting brighter and Earth is paying the price with light pollution. And they did a deep dive in different levels of light pollution. And then for air pollution, there's The Clean Air, A Human Right. It's a free documentary that just talks about how clean air is necessary and how air pollution is affecting human health. And then there is how air pollution impacts the human brain and lungs, because it doesn't just impact your lungs and make you cough, but it also can impact your cognitive brain function. Yeah, but that is all.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the Light Pollution 101 so that we can watch that video. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right.
Good grammar and spelling are important, but if you want to write essays that inspire...
The invention of the electric light bulb, 150 years ago, was one of the most transformative milestones in history. This new form of light, artificial light, brightened and made safe once dark streets, prolonged waking hours into the evening, and brought electricity into homes for the very first time. Today, this glow has grown, but at a cost. Light pollution is the over-illumination of cities and night skies by artificial lighting. It's caused by the abundance of light sources emitting light outside of an intended direction. Several types of light pollution exist, including glare, which is a disruptive light that shines horizontally, light trespass, the unwanted shining of light onto nearby areas, and sky glow, a halo over inhabited areas caused by the scattering of light particles. No matter what form light pollution takes, each can have unintended yet harmful impacts. wildlife, particularly sea turtles, have had their nocturnal patterns disrupted. The turtle hatchling's instinct to follow the light of the moon in order to reach the sea is intercepted by the light of inland cities. Because of this, many never find their way to the ocean. Humans' well-being is also compromised by light pollution. The excess light can overwhelm photoreceptor cells in the retina, damaging one's eyesight. Plus, it disrupts natural sleep cycles and causes sleep deprivation, leading to a number of health problems, possibly including cancer. Light pollution also results in the production of additional carbon emissions. Each year, potentially billions of dollars worth of coal or oil, which are burned to produce electricity, are wasted on unnecessary light. Over the past several decades, light pollution in North America has increased an estimated 6 to 10% each year, a rise fueled by growing populations, greater access to electricity, and increased urban development. Efforts have been made to help counter this rise in excess light, including the development of alternative energy-efficient light bulbs and smarter directional lighting designs. These and other innovations will continue to refine this 150-year-old technology, artificial light, and optimize it for a brighter future.
Kat, you're muted.
Thank you. Well, that was very informative. I really liked learning a lot of that. I didn't know some of it.
Yeah.
So not a lot of comments on this one, but we did get quite a few viewers. If you guys have any questions, feel free to enter them in the comments. And if we don't get back to you today, we will get back to you at some point. Stay tuned because later today, membership, Wendy is going to go over the Girl Scout uniform at 4 o'clock Central time today. And then tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central, we will have a constellation activity. And who doesn't love looking at the stars, speaking of the sky? So definitely tune in later today or tomorrow, and we will see you soon. Thank you so much, Alicia, for giving us your time today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.